Reggio Dude. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Two Reggio Dudes. I'm Scott Gross.
I'm Grant Troutman.
And here we go.
Let's do it. So that's our first one with our intro, right?
Yes.
With the video.
Yes, yeah.
It's-
With the audio. Well, just only the audio.
Okay. Right.
Because I normally used to put it over the video.
Awesome.
But yeah, so we're official now.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so fun
Yeah.
making that little jingle.
That's
right.
I bet
Yeah.
it was.
Grant loves it. I'm not the biggest fan, but I think it's fun. It's silly, and Grant has told me why he likes it, and
Yeah.
it's authentic and yeah.
It's real.
It's
It's
real.
not polished. It's just total,
It's just like me.
just creation.
Yeah. Very rough. Yeah, not polished.
With a beat, though, you know?
With a sampled beat, yeah.
And it sounds like, it really does sound like a lot in the Fight Club soundtrack. Like, it sounds like a lot of that music.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going for.
So well done.
All right. Well, yeah. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, you know, we had talked about wanting to talk about Superheroes Club and,
Okay.
you know, what we do every day and, you know, what we've done for the last year and how that's evolved. But also, like, what is Superheroes Club? Like, what's our ideology? What's our philosophy?
Cool.
You know, we have a website, but, you know, who knows who
Yeah.
finds that? And there's information on it, but it's different when you get to, like, you know, hear it from our mouth,
Totally. Yeah.
you know?
All right. So today will be what we do.
That's right.
That'll be the title.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you know, what you had asked about, like, you know, just what kind of evidence is there for, like, you know, what we do. So Superheroes Club is an inclusive program, like that at its basis.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our professional career, you know, we spend a lot of time, all of our time in an inclusion Reggio setting.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, you know, that's the ideological structure for Superheroes Club.
Right.
Total inclusion, and what does that mean? You know, so what does Superheroes Club need to look like? What do we need to do? What needs? How do the kids need to evolve so we stay true to that that which we learned through Reggio and inclusion?
Right.
You know, like how to ultimately empower all children. A little tiny endeavor.
Tiny.
Sounds weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I was thinking, like, okay, you know, like we do what we do because, well, first of all, we're trained professionals and we have been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
And through working in an inclusive school and inclusive classrooms and, you know, I have my sports program, which was inclusive, as well as my climbing program, which is totally inclusive.
Right.
We have so much experience in that realm.
Yeah.
And so bringing, you know, teaching young children social skills
Yeah.
is a hugely important endeavor or skill
Mhm.
In early childhood.
Yeah.
I mean, it leads to there are correlations between social skills instruction at an early age and success in school and success in work life afterwards.
Right.
I mean, seriously, like you can't negotiate or you can't, you know, get
No.
around socially. You're gonna have a hard time in school. You're gonna have a hard time in work, holding
Yeah.
down a job.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's beautiful when you see a kid who has had it from the get-go,
Yeah.
because navigating difficult situations is pretty smooth and it's not really ever a big deal and doesn't like lead to, you know, aberrant behaviors,
Right.
which can affect school and home and every life, you know, every aspect of life.
Absolutely.
Um,
And that is amazing when you've seen them and, like, known them at, like, 2, you know, and, like, a lot of the kids that we worked with and have known, they couldn't go to preschool, you know,
Right.
because of whatever they were going through, behaviorally or whatever it was, they could not go to a preschool because preschools didn't exist that knew how to handle them or
And
work with
support
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we were lucky enough to find our way to one of the only, preschools that does that.
Yep.
But that's what I think so amazing. It's like about Reggio. It's like they've known, like Malaguzzi, like is so much like Einstein. And it's like he knew these things, he felt these things, he thought these things were true about children, and so like he went on this and people, So he went on this journey to create what he just felt was true about children and people and families. And I mean that was like 60 years ago. They just celebrated his 100 year of his birth. And so like Einstein keeps getting proven correct over and over and over again for things that he, postulated and came up with 100 years ago before science could prove it.
Right.
Same thing has happened with Malaguzzi. It's like, they haven't given a shit about early childhood education, up until like, 3 decades ago wasn't even on the radar. So it's like any research, any evidence is going to be new.
Right.
And it's like at 42, I understand how long it takes for research to be done and how like research is carried out.
Yeah.
And 30 years is nothing to find something definitive.
Yeah.
Especially with something as emotional and like abstract as children and families and education and learning.
Right. Because a lot of, I mean, there is hard data, but a lot of it can be anecdotal with regard to that kind of stuff. Social skills in early childhood. And it also, after research is published, it takes you have to get buy-in. You have to get implementation.
Yeah.
What does that look like? But yeah, like you said, we were fortunate enough to be part of a really progressive program.
Yeah.
Inclusive program that happened to also have a Reggio focus or a Reggio approach.
Yeah, and that's what gave us our credibility. Like as we learned about Reggio and as we developed as inclusion teachers and like as we saw the way inclusion worked and like that's we were doing research there, like cutting edge research in the classroom, watching the growth of children based on team dynamics, social relationships, trauma.
Play.
Trauma. I mean, anything, like this is our goal was to make sure that our kids were progressing and connecting to each other in the classroom. So like we knew if that wasn't happening or not, that was our evidence. So it's like seeing the success, like you were talking about with kids that are 2, seeing them be able to handle their shit at 5 is amazing, is huge. And we saw that over and over again. And so that's all we needed, was like, that was our evidence. That was our research to know that there's value in inclusion and in Reggio. And then when we went there, it was validated even more. It's like, but in the States, they're super behind on early education. So it's like, if you want to become the best preschool possible, or if you want to be the best parent possible, you can't assume that all the best research and all the best information out there is given to you. You can't assume that about anything. You probably should assume the opposite, that it's not given to you. What's given to you is the easiest thing that's packageable for the most people.
Right.
Because the intention is to help, but there's such a spectrum of understanding that they have to get it right in the middle of the bell curve to do as much good as possible. And that means that parents have to do their own research and find their own path for their children. And I will fully endorse Reggio till I die. Like it's how we raise our children. It's how we think, and it's like, and it's never been proven wrong. It's like,
right. It's a ridiculously strong foundation, I guess, for the programs that we run.
Yeah.
Just yeah. I mean, it allows us to. I mean, gosh, it allows us to do so much with our kids, to understand them really, really well, and take the time to get to know them.
Yeah.
And these are a lot of times, like you said, these are some kids that are either can't go to preschool, or they're getting kicked out. They're on the verge of getting kicked out.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're in kindergarten and they're like, you having problems, and it's just like they just need more.
Right.
And the school's not capable of helping them.
Right.
And so that's where we come in, and we see the children for who they are, and just help bring them up to where they need to be.
Because there seems to be like, keep going.
No, go ahead.
No, there's just there seems to be like the two choices. It's like you have this choice. Like, so say like your school approaches you about your child and says that they have certain behavior issues in the class. It's like, so, what's the protocol for dealing with that? It's like at that point, has the classroom teacher done everything that they can to like solve this problem on their own? Like, if this is your tribe, your class is your tribe, and like you're in charge, and you're trying to teach everybody how to share control and be together and learn and grow, then it's your responsibility to make sure that happens. So like once you approach the parents, that's when you have forfeited that you've done everything you can.
Right.
And I just can't imagine like, a teacher that's been trained in Reggio or like has experience with inclusion.
Got a phone call.
You need to take it?
Dang it, yes I do.
It's all good.
Hold on, sorry.
All good. I was like, should I talk? I could talk.
Yeah.
But I figured you just clip it or cut it.
I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I don't know. Probably not.
I should have talked then.
Sorry. Yeah.
okay.
So we'll just have some dead air there. Sorry.
You're gonna have some me staring off into space.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Really wish I would have talked. They were deep thoughts, y'all. They were deep, deep thoughts.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to take that phone call.
That's okay.
Yeah. Where were we?
So we were setting up like, why we run Superheroes the way we do and what's our intention with Superheroes Club.
Okay.
Yeah. Based on all the wonderful things that Reggio instilled in us that we just instinctually knew, like, if you're a good person and like you just want to connect with people and learn and like, that's what makes Reggio so beautiful. It's like, it's so simple, it's just, it's the secret, basically. Just
it's fantastic.
Yeah. Unconditional love for children, all children. And that's the thing. It's like, that's what I was saying. So it's like, there's like the medical model of problems. You know, it's like if you have an issue,
Right.
you know, with your body or your mind, like you can go this medical model route, you know.
Right.
And in recent years and decades, we've had, you know, more access to alternative routes, you know. So it's like if you're like, so if your teacher comes to you and says that there's a problem with your kid in the class, you know, it's like hopefully at that point they've done everything they can. But if they come to the teacher, then they've exhausted everything that they can do, and they're trying to like bring in the parents for like a triangulation of
If
help.
the teacher has gone to the parents, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that like a teacher should be able to handle, like we need to create teachers and schools that can handle this, that like that don't need to involve the parents necessarily, that have the strength and resolve to deal with whatever's in the class.
Right.
You know? And that doesn't mean that there doesn't have to be a relationship with the parents, but like it only means that the teacher is in control and can handle a wide range of things that any of these kids can throw at her, which keeps the consistency of the child's educational learning experience.
Yes.
You know, because like when you
100%,
involve the parents, it starts to, you know, in one way.
It does, because children behave differently for their parents than they do for teachers.
Yeah.
Pretty much all children. I'll go ahead and say that. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, keeping it, if the teacher can be the one there, you know, to help with through whatever social issues or issues they're having in the classroom.
Right.
Yeah, if they have the confidence and the skill set to,
Right.
and the love
Exactly.
to yeah, just see all children as fully capable and brilliant little beings that they are.
And that's the thing. It's like that's what we do. It's like we don't look at children like it, because we know if parents are seeking us, they need help with something.
100, yeah.
They need information, or they need like, you know, help now, or their kids, you know, whatever. So it's like, and we don't look at their child as like something's wrong with them. It's
Right.
like we're excited to meet any kid, any family that comes to us. It's like we want to know how we can help you because we know what's out there.
Right.
You know, we know why you've come to our door.
Yeah.
You know, and we're excited to figure out what it is and how we can help you, because we don't see anything wrong with your kid.
Right.
You know, and it's like that's the difference. Like if you can either see a child as something's wrong with them, or you can see a child as an opportunity to learn from them.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And you have to decide what kind of teacher is teaching your child and what kind of school you're at.
Right.
You know, because you may.
No, it's yeah, it is. It's like when you meet a new child, it's like, I know I'm always looking for, okay, potential.
Yeah. What can they do?
What can we just build off of and keep using what it is that they are strong in, and use that to help the areas that might be a little more deficient, or just, you know, get them caught up to where they need to be, behaviorally, whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, that's always, and it's, yeah, the work, that's funny. Because like, I think back to when we saw Temple Grandin talk, gosh, that was a lot of years ago now, maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
I loved him.
And she was like, yeah, I mean, and she said this her entire life, like her, you know, just like, you know, use, like for this is for individuals on the spectrum, like use what they love, and find a way to turn that into a career.
Yeah.
Find a way, like for the kid who's really psyched about trains, find a way how they can eventually get into the transit system. And, you know, who knows, maybe they'll develop a new way of timing the railways that saves everyone millions of dollars a year.
Yep.
Who knows? Because the potential is limitless out there, and it's just, we need to not focus on the negatives and keep it on the potential and the positives for every child.
Amen.
And it's unfortunate because a lot of teachers have become really jaded with, you know, seeing, I mean, for a number of reasons, but seeing children in that negative light.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this kid's such a pain in the ass. He disrupts the class all the time. You know, It's like, hold on, you know, you got to flip it.
No, they don't flip it. Hold up. They say he's messing up. He or she is messing up my class. They need a psych eval, and they might need medication.
Get them out.
So
Or get 'em
that's the predominant path.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that is out there for most parents that encounter this.
And basically all that comes down to is a teacher like giving into resistance.
Yeah,
They're just like not.
I'm not going to take this on.
Yeah. They're scared.
Yeah,
And that shows you exactly what you need to do.
Yeah.
You need to get in there more with that kid.
right.
So
And they may not be in a
it's
position,
hard. And yeah, they might have a class of 26 kids.
or a school that doesn't
just-
encourage them to think like that,
Right.
to keep enrollment the way it is. You know,
That's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but I mean, you know, it's different in the private and public sector how much power you have as a parent. You know, and like where you can actually push.
It's true. Yeah.
You know, but you always have choices.
Right. Yeah. You definitely have more power in the public school sector, I would say, with regard to your rights, and the parents do,
Yeah,
because the school can't kick you out.
they can.
I mean,
They can.
not as easily as a public
No,
school,
no,
as a
no.
private school. It'd be
No,
like,
no,
yeah,
you're
you could-
totally right.
You know,
But this is what's so beautiful and amazing about like children's behavior. Like, there's behavior that will find that line. You know, I've seen it. I've been in IEP meetings where like behavior has met the public school line. You know,
right?
where it's like the public school that is under the law of least restrictive environment
Right.
actually found a way to kick kids out because of their behavior. Like we've seen it time and time again.
Yeah.
So it's amazing that does exist.
In what I guess you could say would be kind of like extreme circumstances. Like
Sure.
if it is like if there's like extreme aggression,
Yeah.
and it's safety is a factor, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so sad.
Yeah.
That's such a unfortunate. It should never get there.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's super super sad when that happens. But anyway,
Yeah.
let's go back to
But we're not scared of superheroes.
no.
There's no such thing as that line.
No. I mean, we had a screening last week, and it was like, we were described the behaviors, and it was like, I think we can handle that.
Yeah, we're good.
Bring it on. Yeah, let's meet. Awesome. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's do this.
And I love that. I'm like, what, because parents don't know. Like, parents have had experiences with schools and doctors and like that put them in a certain mindset. So when they meet us, it's like, yeah, no, we're good. We'll take them. We're okay. Well,
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
like, there's nothing. Yeah.
And we get ridiculously positive feedback from the
Yeah.
parents, seeing the changes in the behavior.
Yeah.
It's not like they're like, or when we agree that, hey, he'll be a great fit.
Yeah.
Or he or she'll be a great fit.
Yeah.
Let's start this and go. And they don't, they're like, maybe at the beginning a little bit like, wait, what? Like, are you for real?
Yeah.
Like, you're that cool and you're going to take this kid?
Yeah.
Or they're like, wait a minute. What's the scam here?
Right.
Right? You'd be like, okay, let's see. There can be a little bit of hesitation,
I enjoy the skepticism.
Me too. Because then, it makes the other just way better. It
But
makes
that-
the results more powerful.
Absolutely. No, it's wonderful when they're skeptical and then like you realize that they do have their trust, Well, that's also super important is the are you okay?
No, this is a total disaster. It says no space on the memory card.
All right. Well,
Well, here, I'll just keep talking.
all right. So like this is the other thing, the money part. So it's like, once something becomes profitable, and everything is exploitable, in the eyes of capitalism. So once education and once special education becomes profitable, then, the vultures come out. Like the system expands, to take advantage of the opportunity that this population is out there and that they have money, and then like, you know, insurance pays for ABA. So it's like, you know, like this system starts to function and grow. And is the intention of the system to solely help children become empowered, you know? Or is it something else? Like, does it evolve into how much of it is about the children and how much of it is about making money, you know? Because like, and that's what parents have to really watch out for, because the majority of, like, just, you have to really listen to people that talk to you about your child, you know? And if they want anything from you, if they talk about money, like I mean, like, you just have to be skeptical, because there's so many people out there trying to take advantage. And it may just be because their awareness is low and they believe in the medical model and they don't have the, you know, the faith or the experience and the knowledge to go an alternative route, like an empowerment route, like socialization route. Like, the reason that we're not intimidated by any kind of behavior is because we've seen a shitload of behavior. We know we can handle it, but we have children. Like, if there's a group of children, our goal is to take any child outside of the group, welcome them into Superheroes Club, and see how they grow.
Right.
Weekly. If they start making relationships, if they start standing up and like sharing, if they, whatever they start doing, that's how we know it's successful, because our goal is not about us. It's not about to grow our program. It's not about anything but connecting all of the children together.
Yes.
You know? And because they're all so different, we have to come up with all kinds of different things to do. And we're so lucky that we get to do that out in nature and explore together, because it makes that process so much easier than trying to do it in a classroom where the intention is not that. That'll never work and waste everybody's energy and time and money.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So that's the secret thing. Like, you know, like people, like Katie will be like, you know, this group may be kind of small. And I'll be like, if we have 2 kids, it can be valuable. If children are together, then we can do something, you know?
There's social interaction right there.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, relation-based, I mean, is a huge focus of our program, and it's funny because it starts with us, because they meet us first, and so it's like, you know, in those milliseconds of a first impression, we've got to do what we can to get in there, cut through, and just form a relationship immediately, a positive relationship with that child. Like right off the bat. Like the little guy we screened last week, it was like, I just started using some humor, and all of a sudden this kid who was hiding behind his mom and then went into the car, you know, and stayed in the car and didn't want to be part of, you know, any what we were talking about. All of a sudden they're having an ice cream shop in the back of the car, and their feet, you know, giving me, we're just playing. Right. And that was like, that was fantastic. It was just beautiful. And yeah, that's step 1 of our program. Then welcome to the program. Now you're part of the group with peers. And here's how we're going to get you into, you know, interacting and being part of this group. And yeah, it is beautiful when you see them have like that courage to do like the stand up and do the public speaking, or to share a moment that was really difficult for them socially in the past, where maybe they had a meltdown or something, and to process it and talk about it and say, okay, well, okay. And of course this typically happens after a lot of modeling on our part. And to hear them reflect on difficult situations that they were in, why it was so difficult for them. Because that's a huge part. They have to, of emotional regulation, understanding the why. And then understanding, okay, well, what did you do to calm down, or to, you know, what did you say to the friend that did this to you, or, you know, didn't want to do this with you? You know, what did you do? And what could you have done? Friends, anyone else have any suggestions? What could have, well, you know, solicit the group. Because they're going to have much better answers than we will. I mean, we know what works for teachers, but, you know, for children, they might come up with a solution to a situation that is just way more appropriate for someone their age.
Absolutely.
I mean, even if it just comes down to like vocabulary,
Yeah.
I'd be like, I don't like that. That's great. Awesome.
Right.
Rather than like, I would prefer if you didn't pull my hair from, blah, 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 whatever. I don't, it's just, anyway.
No, absolutely. Because it's about them talking. It's like
100%. Because they're going to be, their peers are who they're going to be surrounded by for the rest of their life. You can't negotiate, you can't get along with your peers. You're going to have problems.
that's right. No, it's like that's literally like that's why they focus so much on democracy and Reggio. It's like if you imagine like if we have a group of 10 kids and there's one in the middle sharing a story or talking, like imagine them all in ancient Greece in togas. Like this is how democracy is formed. Like little tiny children working this structure, sharing, it's like this is how you wire the brain. It's like this is what we do. We talk, we share, we're confident, we problem solve, we work, it's like that's how we listen. We fucking listen.
That's a huge thing.
We listen.
We teach the children to listen to each other.
Because if you listen to 10 people or you listen to 5 people share a story, that's information from 5 lives that you can absorb into yours.
Absolutely.
And that's how you build it.
5 different perspectives.
Totally.
And if you and that creates empathy. You have to be able to see things from other people's eyes or from other people's viewpoints.
Totally. It takes you away from isolation.
And ultimately it's good for democracy, for sure.
Yeah. That's great. And also the physical challenges. Like, we get to see like how physical they are because we want them to be confident socially, but we also want them to be confident individually, emotionally, and physically, so we get to design challenges that get to test and build certain types and parts of physicality in each child.
Right.
And that's super fun,
right.
And
push them to be brave and to try things with their bodies that they're not. You gotta stretch them. Right.
That's what Temple said.
You got to stretch.
Stretch,
right? Stretch. Just push past what the resistance is, I guess.
Don't break them past confidence.
No.
Just gently stretch them to the edge of their comfort zone because you know them and delicately push them.
And we know that they can do it.
Yes.
And then once they do, then it's the all right. There's a little drop in the bucket there.
That's right.
Okay. Let's keep going. Let's keep at it.
That's right.
It's yeah. With me and climbing, it's the same thing. Working with kids with climbing, you'll see like their first session, they'll get 4 feet off the wall or whatever, or off the ground. Maybe it's just I don't know, just a sensory thing, and they're like, oh, this harness is weird, but it's like okay, well, we're gonna put it on for a little bit.
Right.
Okay, it's weird, doesn't feel right. It's extra, right? Yeah. No, and then you just see as they get more confident, like, it's just, it's a living bar graph. They're like here, and then they're here, and then they're here, and then they're at the top.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So that's how you track progress. How does a preschool teacher track progress? Like, this is what we do in Superheroes. And we know these kids very well. We're with them every week. We've gotten to see them grow, and we're looking for relationships for evidence of growth.
Yes.
So it's like, how does a preschool teacher apply those principles into their classroom? It's like their Reggio principles. Look for relationships, the relationship between the children. How are they growing? Are they growing? What are the relationships between adversaries? What are the relationships between alphas and betas? What are the relationships between like materials, sensitivities? What are the relationships between children and their sensitivities? It's like these are all things you can track and you should know because this is how you build your image of the child. It's all encompassing and gives you total information about the child to build whatever you need for them to learn.
Right.
So like that's what a preschool teacher and a parent needs to look for. Like we were at the playground yesterday or a few days ago with Faith, and this little boy came over to her, and he was like laughing, and then like he told his grandpa to chase him, and then he was like, he motioned to Faith, he was like, come on, and she was like, what, like me? And then like she went with him, and they started running around, and she was a little hesitant at first, like didn't want to go to the merry-go-round, but like But then I watched her confidence take her into this experience, and I just watched.
Yeah.
And then they were running and playing, and like then they were climbing up on this thing, and then Faith asked her, she was like, asked him, I was like, I'm 4. How old are you? And I was like, we're good.
Yes.
We're good. Strange kid on a playground asking questions. Like
Right.
that's good. You know, so like that's the kind of stuff like you're looking for in your classroom, you know, and with your little markers that they're going in the right direction and that they have confidence and they can push them through emotional situations. And then she slipped off this corkscrew that's 10 feet off the ground. You know, the one at the lake. She was hanging off the top. Like she went down it 4 times, but then the 5th time she like fell off and she's hanging 10 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
She dropped herself down each rung till she was on the ground. Like I was like,
Nice.
I was so proud of her. And the granddad was just watching her with his mouth open. Like I didn't know she could do that.
It's cool.
Protect herself like that.
Absolutely.
So cool.
Oh, and that's a huge moment. I mean, as a parent,
Yeah.
like, wow. Okay, she recognized she was in danger and she did something about it.
Yeah.
She didn't freeze.
No.
She didn't panic. You know, I mean, she rescued herself.
Yes.
That's what else do you want? Like for your kid.
Rescue themselves.
Rescue themselves.
Ask questions to strangers if they want to.
Right.
You're good.
Yeah. No, that's a fantastic example.
So that was great.
I mean, I can of course I can relate to that with climbing, of course. Like, and through some really sketchy situations I've put myself in, and like, oh God,
Yeah.
if this hand blows, I'm going to the hospital.
Right.
Like, there's just no doubt about it. So it's like, dig deep, find that inner strength.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, whether it's, I mean, it you know, when you're pushed to the limit physically, it is like an inner mental strength because your body has nothing else. And
Yeah.
it's just fight.
Yeah.
And that's really cool to hear that Faith has that. It doesn't surprise me. I know her.
But you have until you see it. I told her that you would be super impressed. I was like, I can't wait.
I'm
till
giving her
Mr.
high
Scott.
fives for sure. Oh my God. Yeah. That's fantastic. Oh, that little girl.
But you find things out at that line. You know, it's like that line where it's like, if I don't do this, I'm going to get hurt. You know, it's like,
Yep.
you know, it's like, and you find certain things out about yourself at that line, you know, but how many people get to go to that line, or how many people, like, you know, you can't plan it, but it tells you certain things.
Right.
So how can you like challenge yourself? You know, it's like you need to challenge yourself in all kinds of ways.
Yeah.
Emotionally, socially, physically, like
Educationally.
educationally. You need to expand like what you're comfortable with. You know,
Right.
it's like
Right.
um
That's like the 16 pages of drafting that I lost. That story.
yeah.
Before it was due. The night before it was due.
Yeah.
That was one of those, oh fuck. Well, I could just give up and just die, get kicked out of school. Like,
Yeah.
or let's just sit down at the computer and start cranking.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you tapped into a sense of inspiration and motivation that allowed you to do it. And that is always around us, you know, like it's just about setting your intention.
Right.
So anyway, so like Superheroes Club, like, so it was really great to evolve it into OE, and like, you know,
Right.
we can make the groups look like what they need to and explore different things, you know, based on, you know, the groups, you know. So we decided, you know, hiking is usually a part of our groups.
Yes.
A lot of the time. So we decided to make a outdoor explorers hiking group, you know,
OE.
OE.
Yeah. Not old English people. We don't drink the malt liquor.
Not anymore.
No.
No, it's like 1999, I
Save
think.
that
was
for
my last
Yosemite.
OE.
King Cobras. No. Oh, jeez. Anyway, no.
Right.
So yeah, OE, original outdoor explorers. Not I don't know what I'm doing.
It's okay,
Anyway,
man. It's fine. So
yeah.
it's been fun to do that, you know, just like go, you know, because there's kids. If there's kids together, you could basically do anything out in the world and explore and have fun, and it's beneficial for everybody. And there's real time problems, academics, everything built in.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's optimal.
Yeah. It's beautiful. And we're in nature. We're outside. And,
Yeah.
and I mean, encountering real world situations and physical challenges,
Yeah.
and negotiating the environment,
Yeah.
helping one another,
Yeah.
turning around to check to see if everyone's still with the group.
Right.
I mean, those are things that are super important. It's
If
part
you
of,
want to lead the group,
you have to be able to be responsible for everyone.
yeah.
Yeah. And we have a lot of kids who want to be leaders.
It's
And it's
awesome.
great. It's
Yeah.
so great. We have to be like, hold on, slow down. Slow it down, buddy. Like, do you see Mr. Grant? No, I can't see him. He's not, he's in the back somewhere. We're going to have to wait. That's what good team leaders do.
That's right.
We're going to make sure the whole team is here.
No, little things like that, it's like you get to practice things that you want to wire their brain for certain things. So they have to have experience to do that.
Yeah.
So you have to give them that experience,
Well, here's an example from last week's Outdoor Explorers Club. We went to a new section of this park, and we were actually on this island. At the end of the island is this big, giant tree. No idea what kind of tree it is, but it's got this massive hole, like massive. I can fit in it, like at the base. And, at first we were like, oh, maybe someone will be brave and want to go in. And it was like, what is it? What is it? Like the telephone booth thing? Like, how many kids can we get in the telephone booth? Like, they all wanted to be in there.
Yeah.
And they all wanted to be in there together.
Yeah.
Like, it was cool. Like, it was like, there's literally no room.
Yeah.
Like, but we had 3 kids and 4 at the, entrance. Like, they wanted to be part of a group and experience that all together.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. No one was like, get out, I want to be in here by myself. Like, it was a full on thing. And that was priceless.
That's what's so great. Like if you take a group of adults, like they have to get through their egos. Like if they're going to do something together, anything, they have to get through their egos and organize in some way, but children, like with that experience, it's all just pure exploration.
100%.
It's all just together. If there's a sense of fear because it's a giant tree and a giant hole and it's the unknown.
And there's black right above
It
us.
gets crazy.
No idea what's above us. Yeah. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Exactly.
And the fun of being together, soothes that a little bit. And the fun takes over. It's like, and then they get to have this experience together. So that was really, really cool.
Super cool. Yeah. That was really fun. I remember when I saw that, when I was kind of scoping this area out, I was like, ooh, this could be interesting.
Yeah.
Just to see what we do. And then, oh my gosh, we decided to have snack there. And then, I came up with I can't help but be silly. So yeah, in our superheroes club, I'm kind of known for being pretty silly.
I think so.
I use humor quite a bit with the kids. And then, oh my gosh, our little one was one of our girls was just cracking up because I was pretending like my butt was stuck in the, I was stuck trying to get out of the tree.
Yeah.
And all the kids jumped up and tried to pull my arms to help me out. And I was like, oh, Dick. And, some of our kids who are not as verbal as the other ones are just, oh my God. I mean, they're so engaged and just love it, cracking up. And I don't know. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to use humor to encourage the children to be a team and come together and encourage each other and to laugh together.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing. You get a whole group of kids laughing. I mean, it's contagious. Like you can't, it's a very special thing. And then, and then fading back from being the silly one to giving the kids time to express their own inner silliness and tell their own story or act out their own thing, whatever.
Yeah.
That's another step for these children to share who they are with a group, and that will translate to other environments. I mean, it should generalize.
Absolutely.
But yeah. Drop my pen. Yeah. So I don't know. You get a pretty big dose of humor in Superheroes Club and Outdoor Explorers.
Well, it's fun, you know?
It is. I mean, if the teachers are having fun, then the kids are having fun as well. So,
Well, that's what you said earlier about modeling. It's like,
Right.
We model positivity and we're having fun. Like, we're not dreading being there. It's like, we love being there. We love doing it. We love learning. And like, it's all unknown. Like, we don't know what each day is going to be like or what
Right.
the kids are going to be like, but we want to be there.
and we show up with love. That's the deal.
That's
Really,
That's
that's the key.
yeah. And we love seeing these kids
Yeah.
every week. They're so great.
They're our buddies. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we love also the parents. We love chatting with the parents and giving them the feedback and keeping them updated with, daily emails and pictures, photo albums and stuff like that they can see. Like,
Yeah.
oh wow, that's my girl participating. Oh my gosh, is she standing up in front of the whole group and telling a meltdown story or whatever? Wow. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I was just thinking back to like, how some, you'll hear someone's name, right? Like they'll say, "Oh, this is Petey," or whatever, and they're like, "Oh," you hear someone who has prior knowledge of this child or whatever in another
You're
environment.
talking about adults.
Adults, yes.
You're talking about talking to an
Talk-
adult.
Talking about adults about a new child or
Yeah.
a child who you work with, and they already have an opinion.
Yeah. That's negative.
Negative.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? No. Yeah. Like, this person's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
This kid's amazing.
Yeah.
Why are you not seeing that?
Yeah.
That goes back to kind of what we were talking about earlier. But,
Well, it is true. Like
yeah.
you have to think your kid's amazing no matter what. Like you, the parent,
Right.
have to think your kid's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, this mom one time said that, like her, she had a hard time getting like, her family to come around to like understanding that, her child was like, had special needs and was like needed to go to a different school, needed different things. And, like, and that's why these things were attributed to like these things, this is why this happened.
Okay.
And then, so many stories about like teacher said this, teacher said that, doctor said this, doctor said that, and it's like, but she also said that like, her father never thought that anything was wrong with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how fucking great. That kid had one person in his life
Yep.
that thought he was perfect.
Right.
And that's wonderful.
That's great. That's a good
To the-
place to start.
Like to the mom, it's like, you don't understand, like we're going through something here, but like just not thinking something's wrong with the child.
Yeah.
That's more valuable than anything they could ever have because you can't take that away from a child.
Yeah.
If they felt that, how many of these kids get to feel that from one person? Or hopefully they get to feel it from a lot of people. But once they start going down a certain path where it's doctors and teachers that don't have their best interest in mind, like who knows what can happen?
Right. Yeah.
And that's all it is. You just show up with love and you just enjoy children and, they will grow.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Well, we're at like 48 minutes. It's been a technically glitchy podcast. Sorry about the interruption with the phone call before. And yeah, we ran out of memory. Oh, and Penny's here joining us
Hello,
too.
Penny.
Oh, hi, Penny. Hi, Penny. Hi, Penny the dog. There's a doodle in the house. Oh, hi, Doodle. Hello, big girl. All right.
All right.
With that, thank you everyone for coming and for watching, listening, however you got us. Just don't forget to check out www.awakeneducationllc.com and also 2 Reggio Dudes on our YouTube channel. And yeah, you guys keep it real. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
See you. 2 Reggio Dudes.